Whether you visit our many historic sites, explore our thousands of acres of parks, launch a business, or study at one of our acclaimed universities, you'll agree Mercer County has it all. Mercer County, picture yourself here. Mercer County Executive Brian Hughes and the Board of Commissions are proud to sponsor Mercer Local Influencers.
Presenting Mercer Local Influencers, featuring leaders in our community whose positive influence is bringing energy, growth, and vitality to Mercer County. Presented by YourTownTube.com, FitFeb and WellTube, and Stimulus Brand.
The Lady Gamecocks are soaring into the Sweet 16, and it's been a record-setting ride for Lakeisha Sutton.
Sutton driving right side. Off-balance runner, good!
She's the 11th Gamecock in history with 1,000 points and 300 assists. One of 11 to start 100 games, and a top 20 scorer in USC history.
It's an honor, as far as record books, it's something that I never imagined or just thought I was going to be a star guard at USC. Kind of just happened within the flow of things, and I'm grateful for that. I always say without struggle, there's no progress. So it's just, now that all the hard work has actually paid off, it's a blessing to see how things are coming together.
It's amazing to players and coaches how much Sutton has developed. She's not the most vocal person, yet she's still the leader of this team.
It's kind of been a journey for her, and it's been amazing to be her teammate and watch her grow and watch her really emerge into a really good leader.
She's one that kind of sits back and observes, but when she talks, it's like E.F. Hutton. People listen to her.
I am just in awe. Swish Sutton is here from the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters, from the former national champion University of South Carolina Gamecocks.
And the #1 team in the country right now.
Yes, Swish, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
Good.
I like your sneakers too.
Oh yeah!
Hey, Cheese!
We love you, Nick.
It's cold, Cheese.
I know.
Hey, catch this on camera. Hey.
Welcome to the set of Mercer Influencers. I'm so glad to have you here today in this new year, 2023. With me today is a person that I've gotten to know over the last few years, and a great and upcoming talent in our area, Lakeisha Sutton. Lakeisha, welcome to the set here.
Thanks for having me, John.
It's great to see you in this new year, and you're the first guest of 2023 for us.
What an honor. I appreciate that. I actually haven't done an interview since pre-COVID, so I'm happy to be here.
It's good, and it's good to see us all out and about. You've been doing a number of things that I'd love to talk to you about today. Your work is primarily in the basketball field.
Yes.
You're both a player and now a coach.
Yes.
I'd love to have you share with our audience a little bit about what you and how you started out. You're from Trenton. You went to Trenton Catholic, but you were playing basketball before those days, correct?
Yes, I started playing basketball in the 4th grade. I was the only girl on the all-boys team for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And one of my coaches, his name is Coach Mel, he actually seen me. Didn't have a basketball court, throwing a ball just against a building. And he's like, hey, I have a daughter your age. Let me talk to your parents about coming over to my house.
Right.
And I went to his house. He taught me how to shoot. He taught me how to dribble. And he was like, I think you're a very natural basketball player. And so my mom just got me involved in as many rec leagues as possible. Played in church. I played anywhere that I had a basketball. So shout out to Coach Mel.
So Coach Mel was the start for you, and you got the support of your mother. You then chose high school based upon basketball, or was that a high school you were planning to go to? How was that?
Yeah, so it all happened kind of naturally. Like, I started playing basketball, and I actually got a scholarship to go to Stewart Country Day School for middle school. Mm-hmm. Went to Stewart for 3 years, and in 6th grade, I was playing with the varsity team. So my mom is like, we got to find a team that, you can, be challenged and try to compete. And so I ended up at Trenton Catholic. And my rec coach, his name was Khalik Lewis L. He was the head coach at TCA. So he got the job his first year, and he brought me over, and we've been together ever since.
So you entered the player portal early on in your
I did. I was in the
career?
transfer portal early. But no, Stewart was great. Like, it taught me a lot, and it also exposed me to life outside of Trenton. And so early on, I knew that if if I value my education, I stay on top of my books, and I also nurture my gift, which was basketball, it can expose me to a life outside of my four walls.
And those four walls in the high school were in Trenton.
Yes.
And you succeeded there, not alone, but with a team.
Yes.
Tell us about what that experience was like for you.
High school was great. I was like a kid. I loved to read books. I was a huge Harry Potter fan, so
Yeah.
I didn't really practice as much as I should have practiced in high school. Part of it was that it was very natural for me, but I succeeded. I was all freshman team for my first year, all Burlington County, all 4 years. I was an all-star. I scored almost 2,000 points. Finished as a McDonald's All-American nominee. I was the first ever, I'm proud to say this, from Mercer County, male or female Gatorade Player of the Year in 2008. And these accolades just kept pouring in, so that just kind of showed me that I have something there if I just keep, nurturing it and surround myself with the right support system.
And the support system for you was both family as well as your coaching staff.
Yes.
What was it like to get all these accolades at a young age and try and stay real about them?
Honestly, I didn't realize the impact maybe until now as an adult, where families are like, you did this, and I remember you from this, and I'm just like, I was just a kid. But I was making history, and I didn't know that I was making it, and I'm very proud and I'm honored because I got to do it with my team. And now I'm just a representation for what can happen if you just stick true to, your gift and have a support system.
And that team changed. You ended up at the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, I did. I actually was, I was recruited by a lot of Ivy League schools. And so at age 15, I was working out with the Princeton University Tigers. And just, no one in my family graduated from college, let alone a student athlete. And so at the last minute, I was like, Mom, I don't think I can do Princeton. It's too hard. But again, I'm 17 and not knowing that colleges have support staff in place to help you succeed.
Right.
And I ended up at the University of South Carolina with Dawn Staley. I tell everyone this, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Mm-hmm. She came in to see a freshman and she walked out like, I want that Sutton kid. And so I ended up in Columbia, South Carolina, and even at South Carolina I did well. It was very unknown, but finished all SEC. I finished as a 1,000-point scorer and a WNBA prospect. So I credit it all to God, honestly.
Well, there's no one better to credit it to for all of us. But Dawn certainly had an impact. Coach Staley, in terms of her background and resume, I know from
Philly.
From Philly. So tell us a little bit about that influence. Did she talk a lot about Philadelphia basketball and the traditions
To
there?
be honest, like Coach Staley, like if you watch her on TV, she's all over the TV now, but she's very humble. Mm-hmm. And she didn't really bring up her background a lot. She was hyper-focused on us. We were her team. But again, everywhere we went on campus, they're like, you play for Dawn Staley. She was on Martin's show. She was the flag bearer for the USA team. And so, again, as an adult, I'm learning the impact that she had on the game of basketball. And you're just very grateful because she could have chose anybody else in the world, but she gave this 5'8" kid from Trenton the opportunity to play basketball and get an education for free.
And tell me about the teammates that you had and the relationships you formed on the Gamecocks.
Yeah, we're in battles, like literally conditioning, weight room, in the classroom. We're competing for the highest GPA, like whoever turned their papers in on time. But these teammates are now college coaches. Mm-hmm. So as a coach for high school, as a trainer, I can now just pick up a phone and say, hey, I have a kid from Mercer County, like, could you give her a look? Or can you call your, men's team, ask them, do they need a player? So it's, my friends are coaches now. And one of my friends just got a job with the WNBA, so that's even like cooler to be able to call these WNBA connects as well.
And you had some tryouts for the WNBA. So following your collegiate career, tell us a little bit about what occurred then as you graduated. Did you know exactly what you wanted to do, or did you turn to those around you and say, all right, what's next?
Like, what's next? Okay, so I actually am a broadcast communications major, so still to this day I want to end up in marketing some type of way, and I had an opportunity to intern with ESPN, but I also had my first contract to get paid to play basketball, so I chose to go to Germany instead. Mm-hmm. But I did end up as a WNBA prospect. My senior year, unfortunately, I had a meniscus tear, so it was, it's the business of basketball that kicks in where it's like, hey, go overseas and, go get healthy and then come back. But once I went to Finland, John, and I learned the business of sports, I was like, I'm just going to go to a new country until you guys tell me I can't anymore. And that's just kind of what I did. But now I actually train WNBA players, so it worked out.
And when you say you train NBA players, tell us a little bit about what that's like and where you do that training.
Yeah, so I do training at the Fan Favorite Club. It's a gym that I opened up in Hamilton, New Jersey. And again, these are just people that I met just along my journey as a professional. I was known for my ball handling skills and my ability to score and pass, so I try to teach those techniques and mechanics to whoever, male or female. And it's really just about building a network. And I feel like if I can show a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old, like, hey, he's in the NBA or she's in the WNBA, this is what you can become if you be consistent. And it's not easy. Everyone thinks it's easy. I think parents think, like, if they pay for trainers, they pay for camps, that their kid's going to make it. But the kid has to love basketball, and they have to know how to take care of their body. So we have these conversations early on.
And travel with a basketball in the car.
In the car, it should be like, listen, it should be in their locker at school. It should be, anywhere where you can dribble the ball or even just, like, work on your hand-eye coordination. I think that you should have a basketball with you.
So Fan Favorites, you've mentioned. So that was a
Yes.
business that you formed. How long have you had this business open?
So Fan Favorite was a nickname that I earned in college. True story, my freshman year, we lost every game almost at South Carolina. So I'm like, hey, Dawn, I'm about to go back to Princeton. I'm not used to losing, coming from TCA, we won championship after championship. And Dawn's like, hey, you're the fan favorite. After every game, win or lose, people are lining up to get your autograph, take pictures. And so I started my brand in 2013 when I graduated, but my actual business, my building, opened in 2019. So I'm still pretty new with it,
So you opened just prior to COVID.
I did, and it sucked. It sucked because I opened, I was looking all over Mercer County for warehouse space.
Right.
And I found this spot on Whitehead Road. And as I'm signing my lease, I get a call to go back on tour with the Globetrotters. So I didn't even get a chance to market, bring anybody in. I literally just got my key and I went back on tour. So it worked out.
Whoa. Well, you got ahead of me there with the Globetrotters, so we got to spend some time on that in a little bit. But you opened the gym pre-COVID, and you mentioned earlier that your contacts prior, but you've also wanted to bring those teaching skills and communication skills back to this area, to an area where you grew up, which I think is wonderful. But that's what I think.
Right.
Tell me why you chose Trenton as a place, or Mercer County as a place to bring your business.
I just think it was needed. I traveled as a pro, and I fly out to LA, Atlanta, New York, Georgia, New Zealand, and I seen gyms that was specifically for basketball training. But the other side was like, let me teach you how to brand yourself. Let me teach you how to edit your highlights. Let me teach you how to do interviews, because I think communication is everything. Whether you're an athlete or not, if you don't know how to communicate properly or effectively, then your message go unheard. And so I felt like it was a good market to try something new. And kids need it. I know as a kid, I was more than a basketball player. So if I had an opportunity to intern at a place like this, while I was still playing basketball, that would have opened me up to a million more relationships and, opportunities.
Well, you've got a history in this market, so that also has influenced your decision to come back to the area, family
100%,
in the area?
yeah. I like Mercer County. People were trying to get me to move to Texas, Florida. They're like, we'll give you car, apartment, whatever you need. And I'm like, let me just see what I could do here in my hometown first. And, if it doesn't work out, I can always, try a new place. But I'm super grateful because the support has been incredible.
Well, that's great to hear from you, someone who grew up in the area. I've been in the area for a while, but to hear you describe that as coming home to some degree and making your mark here or out of here, I think is wonderful to hear. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
We'd like to have you come back in a moment to join us, but now we'd like to have you see a message from Tom McManaman at Stimulus Brands. We'll be back in a minute with Lakeisha Sutton.
Most people that you come in contact with gain only a partial view of you. Hence, their perception of you is based on limited understanding, which is why how you present and conduct yourself can be most revealing. I'm talking about your personal brand, which is essentially your reputation. When people think something about you, the real question is that what you wish they were thinking about you? That's why it's essential for people to understand their personal brand and begin to take control of it. The attention you pay to your personal brand can pay you back in spades and help you succeed. Learn more at stimulusbrand.com.
Need a new adventure? How about our Riverside Walk? Or a catch in the park? Or maybe something closer to nature? To bring you and the people you love closer together. Come visit us again soon. We've missed you. Mercer County is open for business.
Mercer Local Influencers. It's powerful.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. It's powerful.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. Powerful.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. Caring is sharing.
Princeton Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Princeton Local Mercer Influencers. Sharing is caring.
And we're back on the set of Mercer Influencers with our guest, Lakeisha Sutton. Lakeisha, great to have you again. So glad.
So happy to be here.
I wish we had an hour to talk about all your accomplishments, but one that stood out to me is your choice. You were recruited as a Globetrotter.
I was.
Harlem Globetrotter.
I could not believe it myself. I got an email like, hey, we've been watching you for a while. Would you be interested in trying out for our team? And again, it was one of those moments where you're like, where is this coming from? And I went to Atlanta. I tried out. It was the most nerve-wracking tryout ever.
What was the tryout like for the Harlem Globetrotters in Atlanta? You show up in the gym and it's like packed with
it's packed
with
people, but you know, to be a female chosen is even more special. So it's 5 other girls and we have to play basketball. And I think that's what people don't realize, that you do actually have to know how to play basketball, because if, you know, production fails, you have to entertain the crowd. And so I think that my collegiate experience helped propel me to make that team, because I was able to shoot those 30-foot threes and I was able to, you know, dribble and be crazy on the court. And, you know, that changed my life, honestly, because it was an opportunity to continue to travel the world, but also show people, like, you can make it. And I'm the first female from New Jersey in the 90 years of the team being around to ever, you know, put that uniform on. So I take a lot of pride in that.
You should, and I think that's when we met, and you were a Globetrotter for how many years?
2 years. 2 years.
A lot of traveling. I looked at their schedule. They'll be in Trenton soon.
Yeah.
So they're coming to our area shortly. So we look forward to perhaps your appearance as.
I might make a halftime appearance. It's really an honor, because Globetrotters, they were on TV. You know, they were on commercials and products.
Saturday morning cartoons.
I was gonna say Scooby-Doo, but I didn't know if everyone watched Scooby-Doo. But you know, just to travel and everyone's just want to take a picture. They have a memory from their family, and I just think it's a great opportunity to unite families. And I know for sure it united my family, not just my immediate biological family, but this Mercer County area, because when I performed in this area, people came out and like packed the arena. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Sold a lot of jerseys too.
Yes.
Sold a lot of jerseys.
And that helped the model with fan favorite.
Absolutely.
Helped increase awareness of your brand, but of your continued skill. That it wasn't just that your basketball career just wasn't high school and college. That this is something that you've taken forward. How does that feel as an adult now? Because you finished college. You did 2 years with the Globetrotters. Now you are the senior set. I'm sure that you can still take take anyone to the hoop and
hey, listen,
stick
if
the
anyone wants to
baseline
play,
jumper.
anyone wants to play basketball, I'm available. I play basketball every single day, and I think I'm gonna continue until I literally can't do it anymore. But I think every experience, whether it was starting in Trenton Rec Leagues and then TCA, South Carolina, professional in Europe, Globetrotter, it all kind of positioned me what I do now as far as like skill development and just coaching. And again, everybody's story won't be like mine, but if you have a vision for what you want to do and you have the work ethic and the commitment, you can see your dreams come true.
And you had some help with that vision, or you developed that vision as a Globetrotter. Did it feel like it's something I could do for a number of years, or hey, this is a good opportunity for me to learn and expand my brand? How did that sort of develop for you in saying, all right, what's the next step for Lakeisha Sutton?
Again, just want to make history. And joining the company, I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is my first job too. I've never had my first job as an adult was globetrotting, and I'm like, you want me to go play basketball and just like kiss babies and like talk to little girls? I'll do it. But again, it was a great opportunity because I get to do what I love, which is basketball as well as marketing and communications and public relations, and so I couldn't ask for a better job. And I have to credit my other coach, Coach Khalik, because at first I was like, I don't want to give up my brand to do this. And the Globetrotters was great with respecting the fan favorite club and just like, hey, we're going to keep them separate. And he was like, do it. Like, no one's ever done it before. And so even with the Globetrotter job, he pushed me into opening my facility in Hamilton. And I was very nervous because of the market and just a new business, which is basketball training. And he said, just go for it. You have the resume, you have the experience, and if you build it, people will come. So if he wouldn't have gave me that like kick in the butt, I probably would have not have done it. And he also, most importantly, he led me to the George School.
Yes.
Because coaching was not in my radar. I was like, I'm about to go back to the Globetrotters and be in their marketing team or, go back on tour. But the job opened up and they were looking for a female coach. And I said, why not? And they've been great. George School has been very supportive with my vision of building a program from a holistic standpoint, right? So you can't just show up in November and then expect to win in February. You have to, summer, preseason, postseason. So I'm trying to model it just like college.
And do you get out to do recruiting for the George School? How do you find players, or what's your vision for finding players? Yeah.
All right,
Can you share that?
Most of my players now, they've actually came through my training facility at some point, and so it's been pretty organic. Like, hey, I'm looking for a high school, and I'll say, put an application in for the George School, or they're unhappy at their other private schools or prep schools, and I'm like, if you want to be challenged and coached and held accountable, then I think you should come play for me at the George School. But the George School is also a very high academic school, so however it goes on or off the court, they'll be set up for success for the rest of their life.
And those lessons that you're passing on, sounds like you got a lot of them from Coach Khalik?
Yes, Coach Khalik and Coach Mel.
And you're carrying them forward. So the George School, you started 2 years ago now?
Yes.
And you're a head coach, and you've got a team that is competitive. You're in the middle of your season, so thank you for coming in during
No problem. Thank you for this is I've been looking forward to this because I just feel like for as much as I've accomplished, I want to connect and collaborate with other people in the Mercer County area in whatever capacity that I can help or lend a hand. So I appreciate you guys.
Oh, well, I'm glad to have you here. And your coaching experience at George School will continue for some time. You've got a team that includes freshmen, sophomores, and seniors, so you've got a good mix.
I have no seniors, so it's been tough.
Right.
So I have 3 juniors, 4 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. But my most highly recruited kid's a 6'5" kid named Gianna Johnson from Bucks County, and Priyanka Punham from Pennington. These guys have like Stanford, UCLA, Arizona, a lot of Power 5 schools and Ivy Leagues.
In the off season, they'll be in your gym.
They will. And they'll also be in the communities because my hope is that we can get out to a YMCA in Princeton or Hopewell or wherever it is and just kind of give back. I think that exposure matters and representation. So I have an army of kids that want to give back.
Well, and I don't need to talk about my opinion about Mercer County, but I know that you're also involved with the Trenton Recreation League in basketball. Yes. Tell me about your involvement there, what you've seen over the time period that you've been involved in Trenton Hoops. Have you seen lots of improvements? Have you seen that there's a renewed interest in athletics?
There's a renewed interest. Have to credit Mayor Reed and our director, Maria, of Recreation. They gave me an opportunity. They seen what I was doing at my fan favorite club. They're like, how do you have all these kids in here? And they're just engaged. I'm like, you give them what they want. And so they gave me an opportunity to kind of revitalize basketball in the city of Trenton. And so they allowed me to kind of renovate all of our parks. So I get to pick the colors, you know, Cowder Park. Like there's 18 different basketball courts in the city of Trenton, and I'm the one that picked the colors and the pads and the nets and everything. So
no
they really
chain
trusted.
Nets.
No chain nets. They just kind of trusted my experience, you know, and my expertise as a professional basketball player. And they're like, hey, whatever you think our community needs, we trust you. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity as well.
Well, I look forward to seeing you perhaps at the Globetrotters event at the Cure Arena.
Yes.
And following your coaching efforts at the George School. I know with a younger set of ladies playing, but with the time and effort that you're putting into them, that you will succeed.
Yes.
And it's great to have gotten to know a little bit more about you today and have you share that with our audience. So I'm so happy that you came in and took this time in the middle of a busy season. And we'll keep an eye out and see how this show, this network, and this county can support your efforts. So thank you very much, Lakeisha, for coming in.
Thank you, and I'll definitely support your network and your show as well.
All right.
I'm going to share it.
Well, that's great to hear. And we'd like to thank the Mercer County Office of Economic Development for their renewed interest in our network and this show. And we look forward to seeing you on a future episode of Mercer Influencers. Take care, everyone.
We're told, like, make friends, be a leader, but sometimes it's okay to be a follower if you're following the right people. Right. And so for me, I just want to be a living example that you can be from where we're from and still have education or treat people with respect or, you know, like create your own opportunities, because we get overlooked by New York and Philly. So I'm trying to, I know you guys are doing it too, like bring events to the city where people got to stop in Trenton before they go to New York or Philly. Before I became fan favorite, before I became a Globetrotter, before I went to Carolina, I was just a little girl from Trenton dealing with peer pressure and trying to figure out like life and who I wanted to be. And so the main themes are education, self-love, and decision-making. And I'm really proud of that because I could have wrote about basketball, but I feel like people could Google my basketball stuff. But to really talk about my hard times and when I was going through betrayals and confusion and things like that and how I got over it, it's all in the book. Maybe it's too much in the book, but it's out there already now.